It's good, y'all. Welcome back to Niner Wire. I'm your host, Sam, and today we are back for more post-game analysis. I mean, the season's just getting ugly at this point, man. So, I mean, yes, I'm going to do this post-game analysis. Again, I'm not saying there's not much to talk about. There obviously is. There's obviously a lot to talk about. But, I mean, these post-game analysis are not as fun to do when you're losing games like this. So, I mean, I'm obviously here. I'm going to bring it to you. And I got to say, let's just start off right off the bat. This game did not feel like a loss. For some reason, it just didn't feel like a loss. I felt like we played well. They played better. I feel like that's how I'm viewing the game today. And let's just get right into it. Before I do it, make sure to follow me on Twitter at NinerWireSam. My Instagram is at NinerWire_YT. I post a lot of stuff there during games, before games, after games, other stuff. So make sure to follow me on both places. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, make sure to leave them in the live chat below. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So, again, it's just me today for post-game. Surprisingly, I've only had one person on for post-game, which is weird. I was hoping to have a lot on. Obviously, schedule conflicts, everything. It's all good. So, yeah. But let's talk about the point that I just said earlier. This did not feel like a loss. And I'll tell you why right now, and it has to do with the defense. Let's just get right into the defense. And let's just start off with the good side and the bad side. The defense just balled out today. Let's put it that way. The offense fell flat. Kyle Trask, come on. I thought we were doing the slack for Zach, something like that. What would it be for Kyle Trask? We came up with tank for Trey, slack for Zach. What would it be for Kyle Trask? I mean, I personally, we can talk about quarterback prospects later. Personally, I like Zach Wilson over Kyle Trask, but also good morning, Brian. Okay, anyways, let's get back into where we're going. Let's start off with the defensive line. And let's be real, the defensive line, this is exactly what we need to see from a defensive line like this today. The pass pressure has not been there throughout the year. The pressure in general has not been there throughout the year. And they applied it today. They showed up in a big way today and got that pressure against a pretty decent offensive line. Was Teron Armstead injured in the third quarter? Yes. Was Andrew Speed a bit banged up? Yes. I don't care. I mean, you still got guys on that offensive line who are pretty damn good, like Ryan Ramczyk. Ryan Ramczyk. I don't know how you pronounce that last name. I forget. But, I mean, Kerry Hyder, let's pull up the stats right now. I always forget to do this at the beginning of the episode. Give me 1 second. All right, 49ers and Saints box score. Oh, that's not the one. That's from last year. We want this one right here. Okay. Let's look at the defensive stats. Why is this taking forever to load? Give me 1 minute. I'm sorry, guys. I always forget to do this at the beginning of the shows. I don't know why, I just do. But hey, man, it's all good. Okie dokie. Why is this taking forever to load? Okay, here we go. Defensive stats. Today we had three sacks today, and that's by far most of the season. Contavious Street, that's not counting the Contavious Street sack because of that bullshit roughing the passer, which that could be one of the worst calls I ever seen. Let's be real. That could be one of the worst roughing the passers calls I've ever seen. I mean, he literally grabbed him from the side, threw him down from the side, landed on his side, and they call roughing the passer. Like, what on earth are you doing? That makes no sense to me. But Kinlaw with 1.5 sacks, that's exactly what we need to see from a guy like Javon Kinlaw. Rookie year, we've been waiting just for him to come in, fill in that hole for DeForest Buckner. Today, he comes in and does just that, man. I mean, he looked great out there. I'm so glad to see it. Kerry Hyder, Kerry Hyder, 1 full sack. Jordan Willis, the guy who we got in the trade with the Jets, half a sack today. DJ Jones applied some pressure. It looked really good on this defensive line. And then quarterback hits too. Kerry Hyder had a quarterback hit, 1 tackle for loss as well. Jordan Willis also had a quarterback hit. Kinlaw with 2 quarterback hits and 1 tackle for loss. Who else? Yeah, okay, so 4 tackles for loss today. Kinlaw was really the main star of this defensive line. And, I mean, it's just so good to see someone like him ball out just like that. Kerry Hyder balling out on a continuous basis. That's what we love to see. Just game in, game out. He was a diamond in the rough. I'm telling you guys right now. If it's not obvious, then it better be obvious now. diamond in the rough for Kerry Hyder. He has been balling out for us, man. I'm so hyped to just get a guy like that, especially with all the injuries. I mean, he's been the bright spot of this team besides Fred Warner. Him and Fred Warner have just been carrying this defense. So, I mean, Kerry Hyder always balling out. Armstead, on the other hand, I mean, again, the thing with Eric Armstead, it's so obvious he's not the number one guy, and yet, yes, he's overpaid. Let's be real. The contract we gave him this offseason is turning out to be a horrible contract. It will be a horrible contract because it's obvious that he is not the number one guy. But once Bosa comes back, once D Ford comes back, if D Ford comes back, I should say, he might have played his last game for the team. If we add even more defensive line depth in the draft, once Kinlaw develops and becomes that superstar that we hope he becomes, Eric Armstead, man, I have very high hopes for him. But as the number one guy, I mean, I don't really have high hopes for him. This is kind of a wasted season, I guess. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's always good when you get a season like this. Just know who the player is. Just know how they're doing. Know what their play style is. So I can't really complain about Eric Armstead. But, yeah, just an overall fantastic game from this defensive line. And the defensive line, this is why I say – that's exactly why I say this loss does not feel like a loss. It feels more like a win because let's be real. As Brian said right here, we are tanking for whether it's Kyle Trask, Zach Wilson, whoever, you name it. And I mean, yeah, I mean it's you don't want to win games if you're tanking for a guy like that. I mean, this team is injured to hell. Let's be real. Are we really going to get any further? No. The NFC West, 3 teams are 6-3 in that division. The Rams are 6-3. The Seahawks are 6-3. The Cardinals are 6-3 after that crazy Hail Mary today. Or yeah, they're all 6-3 teams, and we're 4-6. I don't see any way we're making the playoffs. Let's be real. With our schedule coming up, we got the bye, we got the Rams, we got the Bills. Bills are probably going to – I feel like the Bills are going to kick our ass. And then after that, you got Washington. You got Dallas. Those could be 2 wins. Should be able to see good things from them. After that, you got to play 2 more division games at Arizona versus Seattle. I mean, the season's not looking good. And this is definitely a lost season. This definitely is a resemblance of 2018 with the injuries being so much worse. So, I mean – yeah, that's really all I have to say about like just finding out who these guys are. That's all you need. I mean, and yes, it's always good to see the depth. Sometimes that depth doesn't work out, Brian Allen, but okay. I mean, it is what it is, and we're gonna have to live with it through it this season. And hopefully, something good will come. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo, 2018 gets hurt. Everyone else gets hurt. We get Nick Bosa. This year, could we get a quarterback? Could we get a star offensive lineman? Could we even get a star cornerback? We'll have to see what happens. So, yeah, but it's always good to see a performance like this from a defensive line that's been struggling throughout the year. They've applied the pressure. They haven't got to the quarterback much. And today, they did just that. So, great job from this defensive line. Really good to see. Now, let's talk about the linebackers. And as Brian says right here, Warner wasn't great today. And to that, I definitely agree with. Warner, I did not notice him as much as I usually do. Yes, he's still one of, if not the best middle linebackers in football, but definitely today was definitely a down game. Not too much of a down game, but just looking at him, like how he does usually, I guess you can consider a bit of a down game for Fred Warner today. And as for the other guys, I didn't really see them at all. Dre Greenlaw, didn't notice him at all. Azeez Al-Shaair, didn't really notice him at all. Did he get the fumble recovery against not Traquan, who's the other guy? Not Tommy Lewis, Harris. Deontay Harris, I think is his name, the punt return on that punt fumble. He might have got the fumble recovery. I forget who did. But anyways, yeah, I didn't notice much from linebackers, so I can't really complain. I mean, Jared Cook, that was Kobe's key player in the beginning. He said that like if he gets past the linebackers, he's gonna ball out today. And he didn't really do much today. I mean, looking at the stats, Jared Cook on offense had 0 receptions, 2 targets. So not much from Jared Cook, if you ask me. And as for the linebacker stats, Dre Greenlaw had 11 total tackles. So I guess he did make a big impact. I might have not been watching the game as closely as I usually do, I guess. But Dre Greenlaw, 7 solo tackles. He led the team in tackles today. So I guess Dre Greenlaw did ball out, and I was just not watching the game. But My apologies for that. Dre Greenlaw, I guess played well. Probably didn't make a noticeable impact because we were losing. I'm probably just bummed out about us losing. Hoping we get back to the lead, just halt them there. But Dre Greenlaw with 11 total tackles. There you go. That's what we like to see. Fred Warner with 5 total tackles, no solo tackles. So that is, Warner definitely did have a bit of a down game today, as Brian said. And then other linebackers, Zizal Shir, I didn't really say I noticed him at all. And he only had 1 total tackle. So, not much to say about Zizal Shir as well. Okay, now let's move on to the secondary. And the secondary played a decent job today. I mean, let's look at the Saints. The Saints receptions today. So we had how many? They had 14 total receptions. Half of them came from Alvin Kamara, and the secondary is not responsible for covering a running back in the backfield on those short check down passes. So, I mean, the secondary did, I would say the secondary did a pretty good job today. 23 targets, 8 of those were to Kamara. So 23 minus 8, that is going to be, that would be, why am I blanking out on my math? 23 minus 8 is 15. 15. 23 minus 8 is 15. And 15. 23 minus 8 is 15. So 15 targets for the receivers, 7 receptions. That's a great game from the secondary. And I definitely think that's what we like to see. A lot of the passes defended today. Jimmy Ward had 2. Jason Verrett had 1. So not much action there. But in the tackle game, Tavares Moore, 6 tackles. Jamar Taylor, 4. Jimmy Ward, 4. Ken Webster, 2. Jason Verrett, 2. And then Dante Johnson, Emmanuel Mosley, and Jared Maiden all had 1 total tackle today, I should say. So, I mean, secondary, they didn't really do much, but it was still a good game. They definitely held this offense in check. Wasn't as much of a high octane offense as it usually is, the Saints offense. So I definitely think it was really good to see this defense do a pretty good job. And my key to the game today was making sure that the Niners hold the Saints on 3rd down. And they did that really well today. Yes, you had some bullshit penalties like the roughing the passer. Yes, there were a few miscommunications. But overall, pretty good job from this defense today, and that's exactly what we want to see. This defense had a phenomenal game. I wouldn't say phenomenal. Obviously, you lost the game, so I wouldn't say phenomenal, but they had a pretty damn good game if you ask me. So I cannot complain much about the defense. And then also, my Saints offense key. I said if the Saints keep the ball moving, they win this game. They did not do that today. Let's be real, and let's just get into right now. Why did the Saints win this game? It's because of special teams and this offense. And it's that simple. The defense had no part in it. Let's be real. The offense and the special teams were terrible today, besides the fumble recovery on special teams. And let's just start off with special teams. Ken Webster, what are you doing? That was like that's just a complete mental error. You have to get out of the way to do that. That also could have been on Trent Taylor, just not calling a fair catch. But I mean, he should be able to see Trent Taylor just calling fair catch like that. It's a complete mental breakdown by Ken Webster. There's a reason why he's not doing much. It's because of that. And Ken Webster, it cost us, I believe it was a field goal. Because the roughing the passer was the touchdown. The field goal at the very beginning cost us 3 points. So, you can't make that mistake. And then Richie James muffing the punt. Another mistake you can't really make, especially for an experienced kick returner. It's really only one. It's his second muff punt. Like, you had the Super Bowl and you had this. And he hasn't been doing much kick returning, which is kind of surprising, probably because of all the injuries. He's been doing pretty well. Yes, last game he had a career game. Today he had 3 receptions, 26 yards, 5 targets. So they are definitely trying to use him more in the passing game, especially with all the injuries when you got Debo out. You got, you got a lot of guys out right there. So, yeah. Okay, I just want to give a quick update about Mullins coming out on that third 21. Apparently, the wind was knocked out of him. That's why Beathard came in. But, I don't see CJ Beathard coming in, moving forward to be this quarterback. There's not much you can really do at the quarterback position. Both are backup quarterbacks. Let's be real. And let's just get into it now because we just talked about the special teams miscues. The quarterback play is going to haunt us for the next 6 games, the last 6 games. Let's be real. The quarterback play is that Jimmy Garoppolo is hands down the best quarterback on the team, whether you like it or not. He is hands down the best quarterback. If he comes back, great. We're going to do a bit better. If he doesn't come back, it's fine because, I mean, the season's kind of lost at this point. We're not going to really do much. But Jimmy Garoppolo is the best quarterback on this team, whether you like it or not. And this is not debatable. If it's a fact that Jimmy Garoppolo is the best quarterback on this team. Is he a good quarterback in general? Hasn't been playing like it. But on this team, if you want a guy that can lead you to the Super Bowl, if you had the opportunity to do that, then Jimmy Garoppolo is your guy. He is the best quarterback on this team. No debate necessary. But anyways, Nick Mullins, I mean, just looking at his stats, man, it's not looking good. 24 for 38, 247 yards is decent, but a touchdown and 2 interceptions, 68.7 rating. I mean, yeah, man. I mean, it's just an ugly performance from this quarterback position. And this is going to continue on throughout the year, man. I don't really need to say much about it. This performance is going to continue on throughout the year. So, yeah, I mean, it's tough. It sucks that this team's season is basically over, but this is the way we're going to have to live. This is the way we're going to have to move forward. This is the way we get a better quarterback if we want to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo, or whether it's a cornerback or if it's an offensive lineman. I don't know, man. This is all you can really ask for. I mean, it's nothing. There's nothing else we can do about this. And yes, it sucks, but as some meme once said, it is what it is. All right, let's talk about the running game. Big injury in the running game, which obviously I'm mad about. JaMycal Hasty, broken collarbone, could be out for the season. I mean, I had such high hopes for this guy, and yeah, man. I mean, I hate to just see it because I have such high hopes for JaMycal Hasty, and for a season to end like this, especially like the fact that he may not make the roster next year. Let's be real. I mean, you got Jeff Wilson, you got Mostert, you got Coleman, you got McKinnon, you got, Coleman's a free agent, so he could make the roster next year, but still, man, it sucks that he went down like that. And yeah, it's definitely a bit disappointing. And now we only have 2 healthy running backs, Walter and McKinnon. And let's be real, as Kobe and I said in pregame, McKinnon is not an RB1. Absolutely not. McKinnon is not an RB1. However, Austin Waldner is also not. He's not an RB1, but he's going to have to step into that role, whether we like it or not. Tevin Coleman's going to have to come back quicker than we expect. And I mean, yeah, I think what was the injury last week? Why am I blanking on this? I know he's hurt again, but he's going to have to come back soon. Maybe, Mostert can come back because he got hurt week 7. He's eligible to come back from IR. So hopefully, I'm just praying that some guy comes back sooner than later. So, yeah, man. I mean, the running back situation, this is our bread and butter of the offense, and we don't have the butter to do that. So, I mean, the bread, you got the holes, you got the run blocking, the butter, you got the running backs, and we can't do that anymore. You just got the bread of it. You got to get the butter. I've been saying for a while, I believe Kyle Shanahan can. If Trent Richardson wanted to come back into the NFL, I do believe Kyle Shanahan could make him a good running back. But, I mean, just the way everyone's been playing this year, just the way the play calling's been this year, I don't know if that's true anymore, man. And, I mean, the run game, yeah, man, it just sucks how this team has just fallen off so much, especially in the run game. I mean, all the injuries, yes, you can blame the injuries all you want. But, I mean, at this point, I feel like we're going to have to start Kyle Juszczyk as our RB1, which is not the RB1 you want, considering you could use him in many different positions instead of running back. So, yeah. All right, let's talk about probably the bright I wouldn't say, is it the bright spot of the offense? Maybe, but the passing game, the passing game is the bright spot of the offense. As for the receivers or tight ends, I'd probably go tight ends. I do think Jordan Reed had a better game than all the receivers, but all the receivers, I mean, pretty decent game from all of them. I mean, you look at the stats right now, you got Brandon Ayuk, 7 receptions, 75 yards, and a touchdown. That's what you call a good-ass game from Brandon Ayuk. This is what we've been waiting for. I mean, a lot of targets to him. 14 targets to Brandon Ayuk, man. Pick him up in your fantasy leagues if you haven't already. Brandon Ayuk, I mean, he's the future of this offense. He's not going to be the revolving point around this offense, but he's going to play a big role in this offense for many years to come. So Brandon Ayuk, definitely a name to keep out for. If you're a Niners fan, if you're an NFL fan, he's going to come through in big ways sooner than later. So Brandon Ayuk, 7 receptions, 75 yards, balled out today. Jordan Reed had 5 receptions, 62 yards. Again, I said he definitely is a bright spot of this offense. Like 6 targets, 5 receptions, 62 yards. That's exactly what you want to see from a guy who you didn't. It's a low risk, high reward signing when you got Jordan Reed. And the high reward has been paying off this year. Yes, Kittle's out for the year. Yes, he's no George Kittle, but Jordan Reed has been balling out when he's on the field, and that's always something you always want to see from a guy, a backup guy who can come in, step up, especially if you're contending. Obviously, we're not contending anymore, but Jordan Reed definitely looking good on this team. Great system fit, balling out. And then as for the other tight end, Russ Riley, 1 reception, 22 yards. Not much to say about that. And then Kendrick Bourne, 4 receptions, 26 yards. Richie James, 3 receptions, 26 yards. So the passing game really revolved around Ayuk and Jordan Reed. Obviously, the passing game was my key to the game. And in my opinion, we didn't utilize it much. And I do think that it goes back to Shanahan not trusting the quarterback. They always want to run the ball. I mean, and there were like 18 carries from McKinnon, 3 carries from Hasty, 25 for Hasty, 25 carries total, 24 set, 39 targets total. So they did pass a bit more. But still, man, I just feel like there weren't that many targets. They're spread pretty evenly. And I mean, I definitely do think there should be a lot more targets than runs. I feel like if you're a football team, you want to have a lot more targets than runs if you want the passing game to succeed. And yeah, you had 2 guys that succeeded. But other than that, there's not really much to talk about this passing game. So, I mean, yeah, it's hard to say. Now, okay, I want to bring up Ovio Bosa's comment right here. Why isn't not letting me bring it up? There you go. We should trade Mcglinchey for the Dolphins for the pick for the Texans. Why on earth would they take that? Yeah, they wouldn't take that. But speaking of Mcglinchey, let's talk about him for a bit. And he had a better game. Let's be real. He had a better game, but he cannot cover Chauncey Gardner-Johnson for shit. And he's a cornerback. This is a cornerback going up against a right tackle, a first-round right tackle, and you can't cover him. That screams red flag all over the board. And, I mean, yeah, Mike Mcglinchey, man, I don't really have much to say about him. He's just been falling flat every game, man. It's just just frustrating to see because, I mean, we all had such high hopes for him. He was named the captain for a reason. He has not been living up to that whatsoever. I mean, leadership might have that leadership in the locker room. We don't know about that. That's something that the players would know. But on the field play, are you kidding me? There's been absolutely nothing good to come out of this man this year. It's just looked so bad, man. I mean, I don't know what. I mean, yeah, it just sucks. Mike Mcglinchey's how he's been playing, and I mean, the right side of the offensive line as a whole. You have a lot of question marks at right guard, a lot of question marks at center. They started Tom Compton, put in McKivitz. McKivitz didn't do too well. I believe he gave up 1 of the sacks today. We had how many times was he? Mullins was sacked 2 times. So we had 2 sacks today. The Saints had 8 quarterback hits. So I mean, that's not looking good. And CJ Gardner-Johnson had 3 of those quarterback hits. So obviously not looking good, especially when a cornerback has 3 quarterback hits. That's never a good sign. Demario Davis had the other sack today. On David Onyemata, I think that's how you pronounce the name, had what the hell? Sorry. I misread something. What the hell? Sorry. This is the internet just went weird for a sec. Okay, there we go. David Onyemata had 2 quarterback hits. And Trey Hendrickson had 1 quarterback hit. That was one of our key players to the game, Kobe and I. So, I mean, yeah, we held him well, but I mean, when you can't hold a cornerback on the right side of the line, it's not looking good because they're just going to cornerback blitz your ass every time. And that's exactly what they did today. So, I mean, yeah, man, it just sucks what's going on this right side of the offensive line. And hopefully get our shit together. That's why I love Alex Leatherwood so much for this team. And I really hope we can get him. But obviously, there's obviously bigger needs like cornerback, quarterback. I mean, I do feel like we would probably go offensive line over cornerback, knowing John Lynch, but quarterback also could be a major issue for this team. So we'll have to see how Lynch and co proceed with the decisions. But as for the left side, great job. I don't really have too much to say about that. Trent Williams, Laken Tomlinson, they've been figuring their shit out. So there you go. All right, let's get to fantasy really quick, and let me pull this up. Give me 2 seconds. I'm pulling it up on my computer. My phone's charging behind my studio right now, so I don't really want to get up and get that. But if we go to all players, let's get a quick look. We're looking at fantasy right now for anybody just joining the stream. Okay, here we go. All right, all players from San Francisco. So, all right, here we go. So, fantasy today, Brandon Ayuk leads the team yet again, 19.7 points. Great game from Brandon Ayuk with those 7 receptions for 75 yards. Reed had 11.2. Mullins 10.18. I mean, you can never, as a quarterback, you should be getting above 15 a game no matter what. And 10, not much you can say about that. This is why I say the Niners D did not struggle today. The Niners D had 9 points. 9 points, and they lost by, they gave up 27 points. The Niners D did not struggle today at all. This is why I say we won. We didn't win this game, but we didn't lose this game at the same time. The Niners D stepped up. That's exactly what we needed today. Exactly what we needed to see. We saw guys like Kinlaw ball out. We saw guys like Hyder ball out. And, I mean, it just looked good all around. By the way, the Jordan Willis trade, it's been looking pretty good so far. He hasn't made that much of a noticeable impact. But, I mean, you look at the stat sheet, he's been balling out for us. So, I mean, I'm glad. I mean, and we got, not to mention that, we also have the Jets 7th round pick, which is going to be like a 6th round pick. So, I mean, yeah, you can't complain about this defense and how they performed today. 9 points fantasy-wise. Robbie Gould with 8 points. Kendrick Bourne, 6.6. McKinnon, 5.5. Austin Walter had 4.0. Richie James, 3.6. Ross Dwelly, 3.2. JaMychal Hasty, 2.9. Kyle Juszczyk, 0.5. Beathard went in the game, had none. Trent Taylor had 0 points as well. So that's going to do it for fantasy. And looking forward, I mean, we kind of already did this in the episode, but going into the bye week, I think this is a great time to have a bye for this team. You can recover. You can get your guys back. Mostert should be back. Debo should be back. Maybe even Jimmy Garoppolo should be back. I could be back. I don't know. It was a 4 to 6 week injury. It's going to be the 4th week when he comes back. So maybe he's ahead schedule. I don't know. We'll have to see. But you're going to get a lot of guys back going into the Rams game week 12. So this is a great week to have a bye. Just recuperate, figure out where you are. So yeah, not much to say about that. But anyways, guys, I'll be active on Twitter during the bye. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at NinerWireSam. Instagram, I've been a bit inactive there, but it is what it is. So I prefer using Twitter better. So if you're going to follow me on one of the places, definitely follow me on Twitter right there. So that's going to do it for the stream, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Obviously, we lost the game, but if there's one takeaway from this, we lost, but we didn't lose at the same time, I guess. But yeah, I mean, something like that, you can just create something like, we didn't win, but we didn't lose. There you go. That's the model for this game. That's the headline for this game. Boom, boom, boom. All right, I'm going to end the stream right here, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys